Well, here we are. This is Cricbuzz Live. We are all set for the third one-day international between India and Sri Lanka. Now, often we would refer to this as a dead rubber because the series, in terms of winning the trophy, is done and dusted 2-0 in favour of India. But let's remind you, there's lots to play for Sri Lanka. Some valuable points after they've lost that one solitary point for their over rate. So there's immense importance for the host nation to try and make it 2-1. We're going to talk about that and a lot more with our regular panel in the studio. And good afternoon to Zaheer Khan and Harsha Bhogle. Harsha, the thought of a dead rubber thanks to the Super League is alive and well.
Yes, Sri Lanka need the 10 points. So from their point of view, it's not a dead rubber. But India have decided that everybody on tour will get a game. So I'm just looking, there are 5 debutants today. So India have decided, look, everybody's going to go home and tell their mother, you know what, mom, I'm an India player. So Rahul Chahar comes in, Nitish Rana comes in, Chetan Sakaria comes in, Sanju Samson comes in, Krishnappa Gautam comes in, Gautam Bhimani no, not Gautam. If you'd been there, maybe. So I don't know if I jumped the gun a little bit, but I was just pushing my jaw up saying they've decided, okay, all 5 of you go and play.
Well, Zaheer, your thoughts on what we can expect from this game? Because, yeah, I mean, we would often say that format, etc., but there's reason to keep things alive.
Well, what to expect from the game is pretty much clear now. In which direction Indian team management had decided to go in. So it's basically a game where the guys who have not got the opportunity have been in the bubble, slogging it out. I think it's in a way a good occasion for them, because most of the times that your chance is not going to come so soon, and you're just kind of pushing yourself, motivating yourself, trying to do everything right to impress the team managements and the right kind of signals. And here is your opportunity now to go out there and play an international game. So it's actually like rewarding them for all the hard work which they've been putting in terms of following the processes which the management have been trying to achieve and expecting from them.
Well, let's talk about one of the heroes of the previous game. In fact, probably the hero of the previous game, DEEPAK Chahar. We've talked about him at the end of the game, his all-round abilities. But, every player, and there's something about the presence of Rahul Dravid, Harsha. We've known him over the years as player, as captain, now as coach, mentor, just an ambassador for Indian cricket. And I think it's not surprising that anyone who performs, be it the under-19 or the A team or now the senior team, will refer to Rahul Sir as having contributed.
It's interesting because I've been at a lot of press conferences, you've been as well. The answers come up in the media, the questions don't. So for all that the only question that's being asked is, what did Rahul Dravid say? And now what did Rahul Dravid say? They can't say, Rahul was sleeping inside, man. He was talking crap. You can't say that about Rahul Dravid, right? So they have to say, I have a lot of respect. All of us have a lot of respect for Rahul. But what I think is happening is because of his exemplary work with the India under-19s and India A's and developing them, a lot of these boys have already passed through his gates. And so he understands them a lot better. Like what Bhuvi said. He said he's played with Chahar in the past. Bhuvi's probably not played India A. Whereas Chahar has played a little bit. He didn't score a lot of runs, but he's played a little bit India A. So he thought maybe he's the right person for it. And he's got a way with people. You can see that he's got a way with younger people. I don't know how he will be as coach of the national team if that ever comes. But very often it's a response to a question that's been asked. But also remember, he knows all these people through having come up through earlier India A tours. And that helps a lot. I believe one of the best things that's happened to Indian cricket in the last 2 or 3 years, or 3-4 years, is this India A program. Hardik Pandya has been to the A program. Siraj has come out of the A program. Mayank Agarwal has come out of there. So I think from that point of view, yes, there is a comfort factor with Rahul. And if you've got someone who scored 10,000 sitting in your dressing room, you're just going a bit like that. So,
yeah, comfort. I think I'll use the 2 C words: comfort and confidence, because that's what he's instilling in the youngsters, or no matter what age you are, Zaheer, in that dressing room. DEEPAK Chahar, he did say that, look, he's seen me bat, so that's why he had confidence in me. Ishan Kishan, another example. He told him very clearly, you are going at number 3, and he gave him the license to be Ishan Kishan.
Absolutely, I think I'm glad Harsha brought that point out of the shadow tours, and I think that has a huge role to play. You not only in terms of just understanding the overseas conditions, also there is a continuity as well. Like you have Rahul being there. You've seen the support staff which has been with the India A tours have been consistent. You've seen Paras there. You've seen some of the physios, which are familiar faces. So that continuity is very important. That process is very important. And when it comes to Rahul Dravid, you always know he's going to go by the book. Everything has to be by the book, how it's supposed to be. There is a process, there is a method to everything, and you just kind of strive towards that. So that's the way he has approached it. So looking at that, so this team and all the team members of this particular team have spent some kind of time at some stage with the support staff there, which obviously gives you that comfort which you are mentioning, and the comfort which we're talking about shows on the field in terms of how relaxed they are. Not only just taking those options, but also the way they're carrying themselves. That confidence really shows. It all comes from what's happening in the background. What's happening off the field, how the environment is. So these are the factors which really help any team, I would say, bring out the best on the field.
Yeah. C for confidence. C also for Chahar. Whether or not his messenger, Rahul Chahar, will cease to play messenger but be on the field, we shall know in about 2 minutes' time. But for now, let's just stay on Deepak Chahar for a moment, the bowler, his main specialist job. And we've got some numbers to have a look at, Harsha. And the Indian seamers in the power play after World Cup 2019, and it doesn't necessarily make pretty reading if you look at the 50-over format always. But one thing's for sure, Deepak Chahar is up there, and he's up there in the T20 format as well, which will be important if you look at this as a feeder for the T20 World Cup. And as you said yourself, Harsha, he could be that number 8.
He could be, and he'll be hoping that the ball swings. If the ball swings even a little bit, he's got that slight extra pace, I think, over Bhuvi at the moment. I don't know when once Bhuvi hits his straps and whether he'll get that pace up. At the moment, he's got that little bit more on Bhuvaneshwar. That thing going for him. If there's movement in the air, I mean, I won't even be surprised if in future they give him all 3 overs. They give him 3 overs up at the top and just keep one around 11, 12 for him if they back, say, a Sakaria or a Bhuvaneshwar to bowl at the end. But that is a genuine issue, that India are not taking enough wickets in the first 10 overs. And that's something to look forward to today. I mean, I don't know if Sri Lanka bat first again, but that will definitely be something to look forward to.
Zaheer, we talked about ODI, but let's look at his T20 numbers, because you would have seen him sitting in the opposition dugout, charging in at your batsman, Deepak Chahar. And in the power play, he has been one of the best in that tournament.
There's no doubt about it, and the numbers are actually backing that fact. He's a new ball bowler. He relies predominantly on the swing, can get the ball to go away from the right-handers as well as has the ability to bring it back and get those leg before and bowled as dismissals. So that's the way he started off as bowler. That's something which he really enjoys doing. On the whole, as he moved along in his career, and we often with every cricketer we look at the graph, what kind of graph you're following. With Deepak Chahar, he's made those adjustments as he was playing ODI format, the longish format. Because in T20, MS has always been using him with the three balls up top, and then sometimes finishing all the 4 overs. So he never really was exposed in that scenario till the time he was playing IPL. As he started playing international, he knew that he had to add all those other things as well to his armory, and he's done a good job of that as well, with adapting that role of bowling those back end overs, adding that knuckleball as a slower one, working on those Yorkers. So that is something which you have to give it to him, that he's a very keen learner. He wants to keep pushing and learning things so that he becomes a better bowler. And now with his knock of such a magnitude, is definitely going to help him grow as an all-rounder as well, because you do need these kind of performances, this kind of, we often speak about that crossing that bridge. I think this was that moment for him, and the coach also had that much confidence in him to actually push him up the order than Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Zaheer makes such a valid point about him growing into a role and adapting as he goes along. At CSK, he's always been, he's a 3 up front, sometimes 4 up front. There was a tournament, I think, there was no Bumrah in that tournament. I think Bhuvi was injured as well. And he was playing for India. Rohit was captain in that tournament. And Rohit said to him, I want you to be the Bumrah today. So I'll use you like I would have used a Bumrah. And he came and bowled at the death and bowled well at the death too. So these are admirable things for DEEPAK Chahar.
Yes, certainly is. And it was, for a change, a list that was not dominated by the Mumbai Indians. But the one thing we can tell you, as I get a smile out of Zaheer Khan, is that we do have a change. In fact, we have many changes. I meant we have a change in the toss. India have won the toss. They will bat first. And we have a total of 9 changes to be talking about. 6 for India, 3 for Sri Lanka. So that is going to be a lot of talking points there. Whether or not only one change we were sure of before the program started, and that was Wanindo Hasaranga was a forced injury change. So Sri Lanka have made 2 more besides that, and India have made wholesale changes. Possibly, even before we talk about that, is because they wanted to give everybody a shot. 5 debutants, Harsha.
And you want to know how they would be under pressure. So we've all been talking about the depth of white ball cricket in England, the depth of white ball cricket in India. Today will be a really good test of the depth of that. Someone like a Sakaria, for example, who had a good domestic season, impressed in the little cricket that he played for Royals, but impressed over 2 over spells. Now suddenly we've got the opportunity to see Sakaria over 10 overs. And if you say, you know what, this kid is damn good, man, then he's throwing his hat into the ring for the T20 World Cup in case Natarajan doesn't recover, for example. So you want that left-hander. So here's a chance for him. Sanju Samson, I assume he was going to play all 3 T20s anyway. But here's a chance for him to say, you know what, Sanju, be the leader of the batting. After Shikhar, you be the leader of the batting. And you take through. Let me see a 70-80 from you. So I think this is a means of telling these fellows, look, this is what we want from you. Hopefully, Krishnappa Gautam will play more for India than he does for his franchise side. I think he's played 2 games in the last 2 IPLs or something. Though his bank manager is very happy with him. But today is a chance for him to show that he can play that role. I mean, I don't know if he's a 10 overs bowler, but if he can bowl 5-6 overs and show that he can play at this level, because he can bat, but it'll be his off spin that will be under scrutiny.
Yeah, busy time. Certainly was. The busiest time of the day was the cap giving ceremony with 5 debutants. Normally you expect 1. They were all lined up over there.
It was like a high school, first class cards that they give out. Okay, merit cards. You've got to give everyone. Oh, my mother's come. Okay, I want a merit card too. Everyone's getting merit cards.
But a big moment. I mean, Zaheer, no matter what, whether you're alone or getting into the group of 4 people, it's a big moment for all of them, no matter what.
Special for sure. I think, for any cricketer, this is a day to remember. Pardon me, I'll just have to have some water.
I'm sure all
the guy playing is Saini. The 6th guy playing is Saini, right? So that's not a debutant, but Saini is in as well. And I'm happy to see that in a sense, because you got the feeling that Saini was just dropping off a little bit. He got a test debut, didn't impress much. He had an injury, and there's a feeling he's just starting to move away. Here's a chance for Saini to show he's got the extra pace to come up and say, look, I'm still in the mix.
Yeah, it was a lump in the throat moment for people in general and Zaheer Khan as well. But a quick reminder to all of you, we've got new faces to look out for, but the same highlights that you can see that you have been for the first 2 games. A gentle reminder, subscribe to Cricbuzz Plus, and you've got conversations and cricket. A great combination of both of these coming to you. All the highlights, the wickets, the innings, the strokes, whatever it is that tickles your fancy is all there, ready and waiting. But one person we will be looking out for, come what may, in terms of the combination of the side, is Hardik Pandya. And Zaheer, you mentioned him. A few names will be rested. 5 debutants, 6 new players. Hardik Pandya will still have a role to play.
Absolutely, I think he would want to play as many games as possible, and he's someone we spoke about in the last game as well. That must be very disappointed with himself, because that's the kind of standards which he sets. He would definitely want want to use this opportunity and make it count. You've seen him what he has done in Australia. So Hardik Pandya, the bowler, has come to the party, which is great news. But if you ask him, he's going to say that I'm a batsman who is good enough to bat at number 4, and I would like to approach my game in that fashion. So with so many debutants around, I'm sure you will see that push for him up the order. Maybe Surya also might be going back, and that kind of role also might be tried by the team management, since they are doing so many changes. I'm sure they have some kind of a plan around it. With Krishnappa Gautam also playing, you have power at the back end, so you'll see Hardik being pushed up the order as well.
Where would you play Surya Kumar Yadav? Now Ishan Kishan's not playing, so he's not batting at 3. Would you slot Sanju Samson straight away at 3? Or you say, no, Surya's batted a lot 3. Let's try him out at 3, play Samson at 4, and give Manish Pandey and Nitish Rana the responsibility batting 5, 6 to go through. So I'd be interested in seeing where Surya Kumar Yadav bats today.
I think I'll go with Surya batting at number 3, because you've seen how he approaches his innings. Even at number 5, he was batting at the strike rate of 120, 130. So if you have someone batting at number 3, setting that kind of tempo and platform for later on your power hitters to come, then it's always a good sign. And also it gives him a little bit of flexibility as well in terms of building his innings. And he's someone who we've seen, if he's not rushed into things, he will have a more time to look at a bigger number, maybe 3 figures. But when you are batting at number 5, you're actually going with the game more than what your natural ability is. The game is deciding what kind of role you will be playing at that stage.
I'll tell you what else I liked, Gautam. Sorry to interrupt. They're playing Manish Pandey, which means they're saying, look, you were going well the other day. The run-out's not your problem, but we'll give you 3 games to get back into the mix, because I don't see Manish Pandey playing the T20s. But the bowling is going to be very interesting, because Hardik Pandya is now one of 5 bowlers. And I just wonder if that is a big statement of confidence in Hardik Pandya's bowling, or do they expect Nitish Rana to bowl 5, 6 overs? Because I don't know if Krishnappa Gautam is a 10 overs bowler either. So I wonder whether they expect Nitish Rana to bowl a few overs. And remember, we talked about Surya Kumar Yadav's bowling the other day.
This is when it could come in. But let's just finish off on Hardik, the batsman.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him over the last year or so play a role as a specialist batsman, in a sense, when he wasn't bowling at all. And with India batting first, he'll certainly look at it as an opportunity to add to these numbers, which aren't the worst, given that he was playing as a specialist batsman.
And I'd love to see him come good as a batsman, because he's showing a little fluctuation in form. He was fantastic in Australia. I mean, I remember what he made, a 37 of 19 balls or 17 balls or something like that in one of the T20s in Australia, which was fantastic to see. But I really do want to see him emerge as a number 6 in his own right. There is no discussion. Hardik Pandya bats 6. There's an issue. He can go up to bat at 5, but he should be a number 6 batsman. In future, I see Hardik Pandya being a batsman who bowls. So if that is the case, then he has to start scoring and winning you matches from number 6. If anything, today he's batting at 7 with Nitish Rana in the side. I don't know if that will change and they assign different roles, but I definitely want to see Hardik Pandya as a number 6 bona fide number 6 batsman, winning you ODI games and T20 games on his own, and then the bowling being the add-on.
Zaheer, where would you like to, I mean, on a day when Hardik Pandya would walk up to you and say, listen, I'm not bowling in this game, or he's not going to be bowling in this game, where would you ideally like to slot him as an impact player?
Well, I think you have to use him in a manner which is going to really change the tempo of the game. So in a ODI format, you can actually use him as someone who is going to be floating, and from 4, 5, 6 at any stage you can. If suppose you've got a great start, then there's always that temptation of upping the ante, and really consolidating on that. And if you have a player like Hardik going in there early, that really puts further more pressure on bowlers to at that stage deal with the batsman like that. And that gives Hardik also that much freedom to use his time, get set, and then go. Because it's never easy for any power hitter to just go out there in the last 5, 6 overs or 10 overs and then start from the word go. If you ask them, if they have the liberty of just getting their eye in, having that extra bit of over or two, and then start playing those big shots, it's a different ball game altogether. So looking at that, I think, if you ask Hardik as well, he would prefer to be anywhere around 4, 5, 6, but not being assigned to a particular role of just finishing the games. I think, he's got the ability. If you have a required rate which has gone too far up, if you're batting second, gives you another opportunity of using him in a different way, where if it comes good, you can really make the game and make it easy for other batters to then finish off the game.
There was an India A game where Hardik might have played a big shot and got out and was made to sit and got a lecture from the coach, and who then sent Hardik Pandya in as a pure batsman in a difficult situation and said, finish the game for me from there. And Hardik actually grafted his way through and got a 70-80 not out and came back and, you showed that he can play that kind of innings too. I think Hardik, the batsman, is capable of much more than we've seen so far.
Australia tour was actually the example of what exactly and what kind of role he can actually play. Predominantly a batsman who can bowl a bit. With his injury and the back surgery, you may not get his bowling services all the time, but you can definitely use Hardik Pandya, the bowler, sparingly, depending on which are the important toes, how you want to build it, how you want to manage his workload, how you want to approach that scenario, along with trainer and physio, with a little bit of restrictions, but predominantly focusing on the power game which he brings to the team.
Well, we've looked at individual roles, where they will play, how they will play. But the important question to be answered, folks, is who will play? Because India have 6 changes. Let's remind you of that. And everything in blue, not just the Indian jersey, is an indication of the new players. Chetan Sakaria, Navdeep Saini, Rahul Chahar, Krishnappa Gautam, Nitish Rana and Sanju Samson. These are all players who didn't play in the last game. The only solidity is the opening pair, and as Harsha mentioned, Manish Pandey keeping that important slot there. Harsha?
There's one other thing though. Keep looking at that team. Sanju Samson around for a long time, might be his first ODI, around for a long time. Nitish Rana around for a long time, plays a senior role for Delhi up the order, been captain of Delhi as well. Krishnappa Gautam is 31, been around for a long time. Rahul Chahar has had 4-5 seasons now behind him. Navdeep Saini is at 3-4 seasons. So really, this is not a team of young kids just thrown in. This is a team of players who've been asked to now show that they can play at a level higher than we have seen so far. Having said that, a lot of them have delivered in IPL, and the standard in IPL is very good. So this is not a team of, I don't know what I'm going to get, but this is a team of people who played a lot in the past. It's just that they've been told, Saini, come what may, you're bowling 10 overs. Sakaria, come what may, you're bowling 10 overs. Chahar, you're bowling 10 overs. So that is the responsibility you want to see how they handle that responsibility.
Well, since India are batting first, let's talk about one person. I'll get both your reactions on it. Zaheer first, and then Harsha, because you've always been a fan of his artistry. No matter what he scores, even if he scores 5, he looks good doing it. Sanju Samson. Zaheer?
Well, looking at that playing 11, it's kind of, I'm very curious about what kind of batting lineup they're going to actually put up together, because there are very similar kind of players. You have Nitish Rana who can bat at number 3, you have Surya who can bat at number 3, and you have Sanju Samson who has been dying to bat at number 3 for the Indian team. So I think we'll have to see what number he bats at. And in terms of Sanju Samson's ability, we all know what he can do. He's great player of fast bowling. He's got this ability which he can take spinners also apart very easily. So that is something which has been around for like now 8-10 years. It's high time that Sanju Samson actually plays consistently at the highest level. And he's got all the goods to make it count, to make it big. It's just that somehow it's a mystery that he's not really taken that leap. That level up has not happened with him. So for various reasons, and like last time also we were talking about that, we don't know really with some players how somehow it doesn't fall into place, but we really want things to fall into place with regard to Sanju Samson, and his career really needs to take off at the highest level with the ability and the talent which he has.
Yeah, do you think the added responsibility of franchise captaincy would have helped him coming into the national setup?
Definitely. I
Perhaps,
think
yeah.
he's
Yeah.
someone who, with anyone, I've always felt that, if you have that added responsibility, it really makes you flourish as a cricketer, as a player.
So do you want to go through that 11 again? Look at Shikhar Dhawan has been captain, Prithvi Shaw has been captain, Surya Kumar Yadav has been captain, Sanju Samson's been captain, Nitish Rana has been is captain of Delhi, Manish Pandey has been captain of Karnataka. So in the top seven, you've got six people, or maybe in the top six as well, all of whom have been captains. And that makes you look at the game differently. There's no doubt. If you've been a captain, you're in the middle. Instead of having to send instructions, you're controlling the pace of the game yourself. You know what to do. So just to reiterate my point, this is not a team of young hopefuls, wide-eyed on the big stage. They played a lot of cricket, domestic cricket, a lot of IPL cricket. This is just the opportunity to make it damn.
Yeah, that certainly is. And that is something we've been saying about a lot of these young players for a while now. The very reason why an Ishan Kishan or a Surya Kumar are able to hit the first ball of a particular format for six is because they've been there, done that in a sense, and rubbed shoulders with the best in the business. At the moment, it's all eyes on the host nation. 2-0 down in the series, points to play for, vital points to play for, and they've lost their talisman. The person we talked about most before the start of this game, Vanindu Hasaranga, he had just started getting into the groove of things. We hadn't seen him with the bat, but we had seen him with ball in hand. He was their go-to person, Zaheer. And, those three changes, Akhila Dhananjaya obviously is a like-for-like replacement, but two new names in Praveen Jayavikrama and Ramesh Mendis come into the side.
But I think this game from that point of view and losing Vanindu Hasaranga is a definitely big blow for Sri Lankan team. But I was happy with the kind of effort, the kind of want was there to win a game of cricket. And that's what you want to see from any team which is representing their nation. So from that point of view, I think any playing 11 right now takes up for Sri Lanka. You know that they are going to put everything what they got in terms of just to go out there, make a match out of it, and win, and the keenness to learn. So that is something which I'm assured of, and that's what I want to see. To add to that, you have a fresh Indian team now taking the field, so that should give them that much more confidence that in terms of for the captain also SHANAKA to tell his playing 11 that look, there are 6 new guys who are going to be taking the field. It's not that it's the strongest Indian team which is playing right now. So we have to make a game out of it for us to know where we stand. What kind of level, and they did put the team under pressure in the previous game. So learn from that. Yeah, I know even if the key bowler is missing, you still can just play the game. What kind of brand of cricket you want to play? Just show that to everyone to build from to win games of cricket.
Aisha,
I'm very keen to see Dhananjaya bowl. Ever since I saw him in Sri Lanka, I thought, wow, this kid's going to be good. And he just fell off a cliff. You can't ask him to go and get married again because the day after he got married, he got all those wickets. But he just fell off a cliff that he could not have made the Sri Lankan team in the previous 2 games. Tells you how far away he's gone from who we thought he would be. But good players don't become bad overnight. So I'm very keen to see how he bowls today and to see whether this young crop actually starts to pick him. Because if you don't pick him, you're in trouble. So he could still be that X factor in that team, not the traditional leg spinner like Hasaranga was, but someone who can do it all. Because otherwise, that team is a bit thin on bowling too. They're going to struggle to get their 50 overs in because you'll have people like Karunaratne probably needing to bowl 10 overs today.
I'm just wondering, it'd be an interesting thought to see that if Hasaranga comes back and Dhananjaya becomes more a part of the setup, could we see them possibly bowling in tandem? There's no rule that says you can't have 2 wrist spinners bowling in tandem if they're good enough.
They've left out Sandakan again, right? That means they've said, okay, sorry, Sandakan, we tried you again, but it's not happening. So...
But Harsha, interesting bit of trivia. We're going to talk about the Sri Lankan captain, but with the 5 debutants, other than, of course, the inaugural ODI when everyone was a debutant, it's only happened once before, and that was in Australia in 1980 when we had Dilip Doshi, Kirti Azad, Roger Binney, Sandeep Patil, and T.E. Srinivasan all making their debuts for India together.
And actually, if you see, in 1980, India played very few one-day internationals. I mean, India played 3 in 75. They might have played they played 3 in 79. That's it, by the way, because India won 1 out of their first 6 one-day World Cup games. So they played a few, might have been in 78, 79, thereabouts. But India played very little. So anybody who came into the side was a debutant in those days. But now I'm trying to see these players who are being picked today. This is N-30. There's 24 players there and another 6 who have gone out. And this is the Indian team that's taking the field. I mean, this Indian team beat Sri Lanka, who sadly we're all admirers of Sri Lanka cricket, but they're nowhere near being the side they were. But if this Indian team can put it together and beat that Sri Lankan side, wow, man. I mean, what do you do from there? That tells you about the depth. But I want Sakaria to get 1 wicket at least. Because then he'll grin like this kid, you know, he's like a kid in a candy shop. He's very cute. So I want him to get a wicket.
He might even go and apologize to the batsman.
Well, but what a lovely story, sir.
Certainly, it's one of the most beautiful stories to come out of India cricket. It's also, incidentally, the first time in 22 years since India made 6 changes to an ODI team. Tri-Series 1999 was when they did that. Virendra Sehwag, in the second of those 2 games, made his debut on that occasion.
99 in India against Pakistan, Chandigarh. Was it somewhere there?
It should have been around
Australia.
South Africa. If you're talking about Sehwag, then it's South Africa.
Probably South Africa, yeah, probably, yeah. 99, yeah.
Well, now we come to Dasun Shanaka. Zaheer, I'm going to come to you first on this because I think we had a brief chat in the second, during the second game and after the second game, where we finally saw him bowl gingerly. He bowled in the first 20 overs or so, looked good, then didn't come back. And he said after the game, I wasn't sure if I should come back and bowl anymore because I haven't bowled enough.
When you have too many options in the playing 11, that also at times makes you think like that. Like, you know, you just got to be very clear, or you're always tempted to try these other options. But must be the similar kind of case with Shanaka. I think as a captain, you've got to have a certain parameters very set. Like, you know, when you look at the playing 11 today, we're saying, okay, Rahul Chahar got to bowl 10 overs. The two seamers got to bowl 10 overs. So that's how you have 30 overs. So, you know, as a captain, you should always have that reference point that these are the bowlers who should bowl minimum, say, 9 overs, 10 overs, some kind of a reference. And then you work in the game and figure out and rotate your options, which are part-time options, around it. So I think Shanaka needs that kind of understanding around his resources, so that, you know, you're not off place, you're not confused when it comes to a certain situation of the game. I'm sure that's what he was trying to convey after the last game, that, you know, he was confused, but that's what experience is all about. You know, that's how you evolve. So these are the lessons which you take. If he's learning from that, I'm sure he will be more equipped to deal with a similar situation in a different way.
How much of the fact that he was underbowled, Harsha, do you think is due to the fact that he underbowled himself as captain? Had somebody else been captain, may have been different?
I'd like to ask himself how he sees himself. Does he see himself as a genuine all-rounder who bowls enough, or does he see himself as a batsman and says, yeah, I'll bowl a little bit of seam up. So in my mind, am I a batsman or am I an all-rounder? Maybe he thinks he's a batsman. And that is why in that first game, you saw number 5, Asalanka bowled a little bit as well before Shanaka. So maybe Shanaka thinks I'm a batsman. I'll bowl 3-4 overs. I'll be a Hardik Pandya equivalent in my side. I'll bowl 4-5 overs, but I see myself as a batsman. Maybe that's what it is. But
and these were his performances in England.
Yeah, but as Zach said, you've got to tell yourself, sorry, these are the resources that I have. I have to get 10-10-10, so I have no choice. I have to bowl 8 overs. Then you start thinking differently, you know. Then you say, okay, I'll bowl 3 here, maybe I'll come back, I'll bowl 2 over there, but I have to get 8 out of me. And sometimes it's good not to have choices. If you don't have choices, then you have to make the most of what you have. And I think that's what India are going to do today. Not much choices in the bowling. They've told Saini, Sakaria, everybody, guys, this is your exam. This is your 10-over exam. You are 5-0, 45-0. You still have to come back and bowl your back 5. There's no support for you.
Yeah, I think that's been a talking point, Zaheer. We mentioned about the captaincy wars that Sri Lanka have had, and it's quite a high number. In ODI cricket alone, if you have a look at Sri Lanka's captains since 2017, that's a lot of captains that they've had. So it's a new thinking coming into it. The team has to adjust. The captain himself has to adjust to his own role, as Harsha said about Shanaka. Not ideal, Zaheer.
So there is nothing right, nothing wrong, right? Like there are many ways of skinning a cat. So you got to look at it that this situation also, what we've been talking about Sri Lanka cricket, is actually self-explanatory. When you have so many leaders, right? Even the players, there is no process which is being set. If you have just one leader, he might make mistakes, but at least there will be a direction which is going in a certain way, right? So that is something which is right now missing with Sri Lankan cricket. And when you have 10 captains, every captain is going to have his own philosophy. Every captain is going to look at the game in a certain way, look at the team in a certain way. And you have example of other teams as well. Any captain who has been around for over 5 years, you've seen that team eventually has come good. Be it say the Saurav Ganguly to the progression to MS Dhoni to Virat Kohli now. So it's been that duration which has helped. At the same time, the performances have happened. So even if you don't start well and you kind of persist with one kind of philosophy, eventually that will start giving you results. That will start paying you dividend. It's just that you have to be patient enough, and that's something which has been the missing link with Sri Lanka cricket.
It's a valid point. I remember Saurav Ganguly telling me once that all captains will make mistakes. But if you only give captain the time to make mistakes and not learn from them, and you keep changing a captain because of his early mistakes, you'll just get captains making mistakes. If you stay with him, as Zach said, he will learn from his mistakes and become a better captain as you go along. I mean, look at some of those 1 game, 2 games, 3 games. It's as if, okay, you came through the door first, is it? Okay, you captain today. You can't be like that. Last time we were in Sri Lanka, Kapu Gedara came out of nowhere. You're smelling of mothballs and he was captain.
Yes, we saw that list of captains. It's quite a motley crew from captains who have been there for a while, single captains, and there you have one more look at that. Kapu Gedara, as Harsha mentioned, right at the bottom over there. Malinga as well had a little stint in between. So they've had quite a motley crew. But India also have a new captain who today decided, probably because of the delight of winning the toss, to do a little bit of his thigh slap at the toss itself. He was so delighted that he won the toss. So that's a reminder to all of you. India won the toss, batting first, and a quick prediction, Harsha. Very different from the way we were thinking of Sri Lanka's 50-over score. India, new look India side. What are they going to get in 50 overs?
314.
I have a feeling we're all going over that. Zaheer, are you going over 300, and how much over?
Well, I think I'm still not convinced with this batting first in these conditions. I still felt that the ball is going to grip a bit more in the day than later in the evening. So keeping that in mind, maybe 305, I think is something which I'm expecting. I'm just taking those runs away just because of the conditions.
Okay, this time I'm not going low. I'm going higher. 325. 325.
Still trying to come nudge me and be stand by my shoulder and all. Come on, show yourself up, man. If you really back your career at 325, how much can you win? At up to 320, I'm winning. Show some conviction. What is this?
All right, fine. I'll go Chris Gale, 333.
So I can get you to change your mind so easily.
Yes. You've made me change my mind on a lot of things over the years, Harsha. So I'll give you that. Your powers of persuasion, shall we say? Okay, very quickly then. Among that, one batsman to watch out for in this lineup to get to 300 plus. Harsha.
Prithvi Shaw. He started with a single, so Prithvi Shaw. Maybe he's going to dig in today. No, if you got to get 300, I think Shikhar is the key to getting those runs because he just understands one-day cricket better than anybody else in that side. Better than anybody else playing this game today. Shikhar understands it better. He's made 6,000 runs. He's 4th quickest there. So India getting those 300, Shikhar has got to get it.
Like a tough quiz master, I'll only take your first answer. I'll take Prithvi for now. Zaheer Khan.
Okay.
I'll stick with Hardik. You asked me this, so I've been consistent with picking my player and sticking with that player.
All right, let's finish off with our joy factor question for today. We've already had so much trivia thanks to India making 6 changes, 5 debutants, etc. But the question we'll finish off with is, in cricket history, if Sean Tate was the 4th, Sim Taudi the 3rd, and Suleiman Ben the 2nd, we'd also get Tim Saudi in.
Why not Buleman Sen then? If he's Sim Taudi, why not Buleman Sen?
It's one of those days. It just came out. So that's your joy factor question. Hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Get your answers into us. And of course, if you feel like giving us your score prediction, you can do that. If you disagree with that, 15th over will give us a good idea of how far India are progressing, because they'll need a bit of a rapid start to get there. India win toss, batting first. We're expecting 300 plus. We'll see you all on Cricbuzz Combox from Zaheer Khan, Harsha Bhogle and myself. It's goodbye from Cricbuzz Live.